Good morning. Thank you for coming by. Tori Magoo 44. It is December 17th. We're getting closer. And things are rolling along. I went out shopping yesterday. That was fun. I hope you guys have started doing that. If you do Christmas shopping, I just am getting some fun things for people. But I got some really cool things. Let me show you one thing I love. Anyway, never mind. I'll show it to you later. But thank you to the person who pointed out why my screensaver was freezing, because you were right. I had downloaded this Christmas tree that was animated, and I think that's what was making the screen freeze. So anyway, thank you for that. I always appreciate it when people give me tips. You know, it really helps. Okay, so today's day 8. This is on Scientology, religion, or mafia. Let's look at the difference in the two. I grew up, as I told you guys, in Park Ridge, Illinois. Then my parents moved to Lake Forest, Illinois. Lake Forest is one of the wealthiest suburbs in the United States. There's a lot of nice people there, but there's also mafia that live up there. So I kind of was around them, and I'll give you a little story of when I was a teenager. I had a boyfriend, he had a motorcycle, and he was teaching me how to drive it, right? So I'm driving. Now, I'm kind of the new kid on the block. I grew up in Park Ridge, moved to Lake Forest, so I'm like in my sophomore, junior year of high school by the time I get to Lake Forest. And these kids that were the kids of the mafia were really snotty. You know, they were sort of like, their parents obviously ran all this control in Chicago, and they thought they had the same control, right? So I come driving up on my motorcycle. It's a 650, Triumph motorcycle, and my boyfriend and I were like, I come driving up, hop off, get off, and I'm smoking at the time, which I don't recommend now. This was 40 years ago. But I'm smoking. We come walking in. This kid at the door says, Miss Chrisman, the women in Lake Forest don't drive motorcycles. Now, I knew the guy was FOS, right? You know, he had no power. He was just another creepy jackass who thought he had power. And I literally took my cigarette and I didn't even blink. I flicked it in his face and just kept walking. Because that's who I am. You know what I mean? My father, and you could say, well, that's kind of nasty. But you know what? He was nasty. He didn't have any right to tell me what I could or couldn't do, or what the ladies of Lake Forest could or couldn't do either, right? But that's kind of a background on, I grew up, my dad was a really cool guy, football player. I was hanging out with a lot of the kids in the neighborhood. My dad taught all of us all kinds of sports, girl or boy. He said, I'm going to teach you everything, Tori. And of course there were a few bullies on the block, and he started teaching me how to handle bullies. So I grew up with a really good background in bullies, right? And it's like, get a number, get in line. It's no problem for me. And I've proven that. So let's look at Scientology with religion or mafia, okay? Now, the mafia says, we own you, right? That's it. If they get into your world, that's it. You pay, right? Well, Scientology says, do it now. This is us. The IAS, you have to become a member of the International Association of Scientologists, or you can't do their courses. At the time, it sounds like, oh, no problem, a little donation, right? But every single year, they increase it more and more and more, or you're, handled, right? Okay, the mafia says, you will pay us. Scientology says, you will pay us also. Now, you can say other religions have donations, but that's not the same as you will pay us. And Scientology, every step of the way, it is a business, no question. Everything is charged for. Everything. They call it a donation, but every single thing is charged for. Okay? So, the mafia says, don't question us. Don't. And Scientology says the same. You question Scientology or L. Ron Hubbard, and you are off to ethics. Because that's a high crime to question. The tech, Hubbard, really, once you start questioning things, it's a very interesting road. Now, this all has to do with mind control. Also, the mafia works with fear, which Scientology does too. Okay, the mafia says we're everywhere. Scientology, let me just read to you their L. Ron Hubbard's target defense. Okay, this is the original copy. Now, you can't really read it, but that's the original copy, and it says at the bottom, the Intel Actions Covert Intel Data Collection. guys were fucking nuts, man. This was back in the Guardian's office days. And Scientology will say, oh, we don't do that anymore. But you know what? I was the one opening up the phony accounts. Hello, just a little bit a while ago. And yes, that was for the Office of Special Affairs in the Church of Scientology, which followed the Guardian's office, which they said we canceled. Okay, so here's what Target Defense says, that someone printed it out. Okay. Number one, step one. Ooh, something came from Andre. All right. Depopularizing the enemy to a point of total obliteration. Taking over the control or allegiance of the heads or proprietors of all news media. Taking over the control or allegiance of key political leaders. Taking over the control or allegiance of those who monitor international finance and shifting them to a less precarious financial standard. Ooh, that doesn't sound too good. Generally revitalizing the societies in which we are operating, that's their PR base, winning overwhelming public support, and use all other similar groups as allies, which is the front groups, okay? These, of course, are very big, long-range targets, but it is what must be done to continue the longevity of our organizations. See, they don't call them churches. They're organizations. Amazing. That's Target Defense. That came out in, let's see, 1969, December of 1969. It's a long time. And then they had the Guardian's office. They got caught breaking into the federal offices, and 9 or 11 people went to jail. And they said, okay, well, that's it. You know, but think of Hubbard. Hubbard's running the church at this time. Hubbard wrote the programs for the Guardian's office. And what does he say? Oh, no. I didn't have anything to do with it. Put my wife in jail. And he did. I mean, he wrote the programs and had the nerve to put his wife in jail for a year, of which never connected after that. I mean, ew. Okay, so there you go. The Mafia, to continue, says Joey will be by to get the money, right? And Scientology says you're going to ethics, right? And any counterintention or other intention of Scientology is considered out ethics. That's in writing. Okay, the Mafia says we're going to keep you, right? Scientology's got their bridge to total freedom. Like the Mafia says, we'll keep you, we'll keep it safe. But you got to do what we say. Same with the bridge to total freedom. It's not freedom. It's a bridge into the ditch. It's a losing battle. Now, the Mafia says anybody that's against us, you better tell us. Scientology's got keeping Scientology working. You better report anybody who is not doing keeping Scientology working, or you're in trouble, right? The head of the Mafia, everybody in the Mafia thinks is great, right? He's the Don. He's the head guy. Hubbard, same thing. Everybody thought was great. David Miscavige, people in think he's great. They're both total con men. Same with the Mafia. Sorry, and don't come after me, Mafia. Don't even think about it. Because in the same for OSA, you know, it's like, come on, guys. These guys are small potatoes, let's face it. Okay, so the Mafia pretty much is covert. That's a fact. They're undercover. You know, you can't really find them often. OSA, very covert. The Office of Special Affairs. They're the people that do the PR and legal, but they're the people that are out, you know, on the internet, in life, doing the Hubbard's thing, fair game, which says you can lie, cheat, steal, destroy someone utterly. Now, Scientologists, including myself when I was in, said, that's not true. That was canceled years ago. Right. He wrote a cancellation, but at the bottom of the cancellation it says, this cancellation does not apply to suppressive people. Right? Well, I didn't think much of it then, but now I'm a declared suppressive person. And I see, oh yeah, they definitely do fair game. And you can go to Religious Freedom Watch and look at it. It's right there. That is fair game. Because those are flat out lies. They will never come and correct it. They will never come even hear any of our sides. Okay? They're bullies. They're slimy bullies. All right. They take money you can't get back. Same for the Church of Scientology. There's physical abuse in the Mafia. We all know that. Frankly, I think people have just left who've talked about David Miscavige, the head of Scientology, beating people up, right? That's physical abuse. All right. The Mafia says your future's with us. Scientology says you have to finish the bridge to total freedom. This is your eternity. And Scientology says not just this lifetime, but lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, man. I mean, we're talking dug in. Right. Oh, there's my phone. All right. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to answer it. Okay. The Mafia says you can't get out of this, right? Scientology has the same thing. You leave and you speak out and you will be declared a suppressive person, right? So, it's up to you. It's like, is it a religion or is it a mafia? They have very similar actions. Like one of my friends years ago said, watch where the feet go, right? And that's kind of true for Scientology and the Mafia. You can watch where their feet go. Are they free? Are you free if you're in? Are you really free? Oh, yes, I'm free. I can do whatever I want. Can you really? Well, then come on over and talk. You're my friends. You were my friend for 30 years, so come on over and talk. Or even the Sea Org. I know a lot of you guys. Come on over. Yachty, come on over. You told me you'd never disconnect from me. That's the other thing. Mafia breaks up families by killing people. Scientology breaks up families by declaring someone suppressive and no one is allowed to talk to that person. I personally have experienced this, and it would have killed me except for all of the people on the internet, thank you, and all of the people in my life who are now my friends. And they are such wonderful people. You know who you are. I can't thank you enough. And this really goes for every single person who has helped me, communicated with me. You'll never know how much it's helped me, but it has. And that is a power in itself that's greater than all of this, okay? So we are going to have a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful New Year, and I thank you all. Peace. All right, take care.